Oh,
No.
hey,
No one's here yet.
didn't see you there. No one's... We're going to give it a minute for people to log on. But we are doing what's called a live book signing. Welcome, everybody, to Coach Brew HQ. We're in my office, and I am virtually launching my new book, Beyond Stadium Status, which is available wherever books are sold. Just kidding, it's only available one place. It's available at beyondstadiumstatus.com. We're doing a live book signing of all the books everybody pre-ordered, and we're also doing some giveaways of prizes, a random drawing from people who pre-ordered the book who can win some fabulous prizes. We put the names into like a randomizer software, and the software drew 3 names. Third prize is this fabulous $50 Blockbuster Video gift card. Second prize is this rotary telephone. And then first prize, the grand prize, or the golden ticket, if you will, is an autographed vintage air guitar, complete with a waterproof case. No, I'm not kidding. We're going to do that drawing momentarily. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about let's set the table for you, so to speak. So we're doing this live signing, and I have my trusty assistant here who is earning internship credit on her day off from school, and that is my daughter, Julia Brubaker. Julia, say hello.
Hello.
I don't think anybody heard you, but that's okay. She is going to be firing these questions at me as I sign the books. A lot of readers emailed in with some different questions about the book. There are a bunch of repeats, so some pretty cool recurring themes. And I'll answer those questions while we're doing the live book signing. And I'm going to sign some of the books that folks pre-ordered. And we'll probably be doing this a bunch of times, as the launch is ongoing. And word of mouth matters. So if you want to support the book, you can, number 1, buy a copy. Number 2, buy a copy for everybody you know, or just for somebody you know, and give them a copy. You can recommend the book to other people. And of course, you can share information about it on your social media channels like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever the case may be. If you want to have me on your podcast, talk about the book, we could do that too. Have your people call my people on that one. Do I have people?
You have one person.
No, I meant like your people call my people. Do I have people? I think I have people. Do I, Julia? Do I have people?
You have people.
I have people. So that's what we're going to do. And I would love to start with a couple of questions. Some of them weren't even related to the book. People emailed in questions. Some were ridiculous. Many were writing related and work related and book related. But I'll take a couple questions from the readers who emailed in, and then we'll start signing some books and give away some of these prizes. So what's the first question we have?
Who inspires you most?
Who inspires me most? We could go 2 different directions with this. Who inspires me most could be who inspires me most as a writer, but I think that's a separate question. Or just who...
Paused. Oh, okay, you're good.
Okay, I had a phone call. I don't know if it interrupted the video. Anyway, we're talking about who inspires me most. And go to Google Chrome. So I have a unique take on that. Most people would say some famous person, or a Navy SEAL, or people doing big things that you've heard of. And who inspires me most are actually ordinary, everyday people doing extraordinary things. Local EMTs in your community, people on the front lines in healthcare, law enforcement, and just quite simply put, just common people who take on a large burden of responsibility. Like the number one example I give you are single moms. People who overcame a lot of childhood challenges or trauma and are successfully leading great lives and raising wonderful kids. Those are the people that really inspire me. People who have overcome a lot and take on major responsibilities or have a large burden and navigate things well. Next question.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Who would I want to play me in a movie? Well, so that's kind of a toss-up. I would say, because it's absolutely my favorite, I'm more of a TV show guy than a movie guy. So I would say someone who's kind of successfully crossed over in both worlds as an actor, Tom Selleck. But he's like older Tom Selleck now, but that's okay because I'm that impressed with the guy. Now, if it were like a TV show, I would say Craig T. Nelson, who was the coach in the TV show Coach, which is a 30-minute sitcom that just about everyone who's watching this is probably too young to remember. Let's take another question and we'll start signing these things.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Can you say it again?
What is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is, well, let me ask you, because you live with me, what do you think my guilty pleasure is? And you're going to have to speak up, too. My guilty pleasure. That could be like snack food, drinks, just activities.
Pickle juice.
I like pickle juice. I also like those gummy cola bottles. Those are outstanding. I don't know there's any one thing that I just can't live without in terms of like vices or guilty pleasure. But if there were one thing I couldn't live without that isn't necessarily a guilty pleasure, I'm pretty OCD, organized, and clean. And the worst part of this whole pandemic for me was there's a national shortage of those Clorox wipes. I use Clorox wipes to clean just about everything. And the fact that those are not available now is probably traumatizing to me. So let's do this. Let's sign a couple books. You can fire another question at me, and we'll just keep this train rolling. So who's first on the list?
One copy for Ron Weish.
Ron Weish, okay. So Ron Weish. Awesome. Is there a question? Next question you want me to take from a reader?
What is one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Ron, this is for you, my friend. One thing I need to have in my fridge at all times. Coffee doesn't go in your fridge, but what I like to put in my coffee, besides bourbon, does, and that would be creamer. So I like a good creamer. I've always got to have creamer in the fridge for my coffee. So, who is next on the list? And then fire another question at me while I sign these.
So you have one from Ron Weish that's going to 3 people.
Okay, so Ron ordered again. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate you very much. First one is?
Michael.
Okay. The next one is?
Holly.
And the third one?
Eric.
Okay.
With a K.
With a K. And what's the next question?
Do you have any hidden talents?
I can fart the national anthem and burp the America the Beautiful. No, I'm just kidding. Hidden talents. Well, talent that was very much hidden from my family is my ability to work with wood. I built out of a bourbon barrel a grill cart on wheels that doubles as a cooler. So that might be a hidden talent. Would you say that's a hidden talent, Julia?
Yes, I would.
Do I have any other hidden talents?
You're pretty good at card games.
That I am.
I don't know if that's a hidden talent.
What else? What else? Hidden talent. I don't know. I am so transparent with what I'm not good at and what I'm okay at, what I'm good at. I don't know that I have a hidden talent. So, what's another question we have here?
What is your dream car?
My dream car. Let me finish citing this for Michael. My dream car. Remember how I mentioned the actor who would play me if I had to have someone play me in a movie? It was Tom Selleck. So, fun fact, secret time. My absolute favorite TV show is Magnum PI. The original one, not the new one where they just completely butchered the cast and ruined it. The remake's never as good as the original. It's not even close. Don't even bother remaking anything. Okay? If you're listening to this, watching this, thinking about remaking something, don't. The original Magnum PI, dream cars, Ferrari 308 GTS, exactly like in the TV show. Tan leather interior, red paint job, all original parts. I don't need any special bells and whistles to it. So there you go. Next book to sign.
One for Scott Sargent.
Sarge. I know that name. Here we go. And Scott Sargent, fun fact, was a player of mine when I coached at Maine Maritime and was my assistant coach after he completed his eligibility there and was completing his final credits to graduate. Arguably the best assistant coach I ever had. And do we have any other questions?
You got a question from someone in the chat.
What's the question in the chat?
From Bearded Big Sean.
Bearded Big Sean.
Are you going to rock the shorts from Magnum PI too?
I would absolutely wear the short khaki shorts from Magnum PI, my Halloween costume every year, much to my children's dismay, disappointment, and great embarrassment, was I went as Magnum PI. I had the gray, topsider boat shoes, the short tan khaki shorts, the original Hawaiian shirt. My boss at my first coaching job, for a birthday present, bought me the original Magnum PI Hawaiian shirt while she was in Hawaii, and it had the original bamboo buttons. It's probably like a $200 Hawaiian shirt. It's awesome. It's like one of my favorite shirts of all time. And a Detroit Tigers hat would complete my ensemble. I used to try and grow the mustache, but it grew in too light and too thin and just took too long. So I would just buy a Halloween costume mustache. But yeah, totally rock those shorts. And I hope short shorts come back. Everything else seems to be coming back in style these days, so why not? And who am I signing to next? Thank you for the question, Sean. Anyone else have any other questions in the comments? Feel free to fire away. And who is the next book I'm signing to?
Gabriel Thusen.
Gabriel Thusen. Awesome. In Utah, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder if we have readers in all 50 states. Gabriel, this is for you. And we'll come back to that name, Gabriel, in a few minutes. I'll just tease that. Who's the next one, Julia?
Stephen Malaro.
Stephen Malaro, Coach Malaro. And that's Stephen with a PH, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Stephen Malaro is an awesome human being. He is the head men's ice hockey coach in Albany Academy. And if you're thinking about sending your kids to prep school or to play hockey, he's your guy. What's the next question, either in the chat or that somebody emailed in?
Who was the last person you called or texted?
I called and ordered a pizza about an hour ago. So Otto's Pizza, shout out to Otto's Pizza in Yarmouth. Literally the only good pizza in Maine. There's very little good pizza, in my humble but highly accurate opinion, anywhere north of the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, and maybe like Connecticut. But yeah, Otto's Pizza is the only good pizza in the state of Maine. Let's do another order, and then we'll take another question.
Okay. One for Derek Volk.
Oh, hang on. By the way, if you're watching this, Big Sean, I noticed you haven't ordered a copy of Beyond Stadium Status yet. And I'm not sure. Maybe you don't even have a copy of Stadium Status. Not just big bearded Sean, but anyone watching this who hasn't ordered yet. The only place to get it is beyondstadiumstatus.com, which is my website. You can go there, order a copy. It's $20. And if you don't find that this has $20 worth of value to you, I'll give you your money back. Send me the book back. I'll give you $20, cold hard cash. That's how confident I am you're going to love it. Next order, and then next question right after that.
Okay, Derek Volk.
Derek Volk. Fellow author, Derek Volk. Author of Chasing the Rabbit. Outstanding book, written about life with a child on the autism Asperger's spectrum. Written from the dad's perspective, and it is literally the only book on that subject matter written from the father's perspective. Awesome book if you don't have a kid on the spectrum, because it's just a great book about parenting, life skills, mentoring. Check it out. So Derek Volk, and what's the next question?
When did you realize you were a writer?
When did I realize I was a writer? I'm going to go way back. I'm going to go back to 10th grade. I had a history teacher, ancient civilizations history teacher, who, well, first of all, he was possibly the most boring, not engaging classroom teacher I've not just ever had, but ever met in my life. And I struggled in the class. I struggled academically in high school anyway, but I really struggled in that class. And he told me I would never amount to anything, and I was going to fail the class, and I would be a colossal failure because I could not write. I was a horrible writer, and there was no... So the end of the year, I passed the class, like 59's failing, I probably got a 60. That's how close it was to failing. And he just said to me, he's like, this was a gift that I even passed you. And the only reason I passed you is because I don't want you in my class next year. I don't want you repeating this class with me, and I'm the only one at school that teaches it. But I promise you, you will fail U.S. history like epically, or however he phrased it, because there's a big research paper you have to write. And he's like, you just won't be able to do that, much less anything else in class. So fast forward a year, I take U.S. history. I get an A, and I got an A on the term paper. I wrote it on Seward's Folly, purchase of Alaska from Russia. It was a really fun, interesting class because guess what, Mr. Rankin, Bob, I had a really fun, interesting teacher who was engaging and made learning exciting. So when I published my first book, I made sure I sent my 10th grade ancient civilization teacher a copy of it and thanked him. So sometimes someone, haters, negativity, trolls can be fuel for the fire. And that certainly was the case with him. And yeah, that's actually his real name. I'm not like disguising his name for the sake of anonymity. No, his name is Bob Rankin. And so if you're a teacher out there watching this, don't ever tell a kid they can't do something because you put a limit on their potential. And don't ever tell them they ought to have a backup plan if they tell you what they want to do. They tell you they want to be a musician or they want to go to Hollywood and be an actor. Don't say, yeah, it's nice, but what's your plan B? Because you're automatically limiting their potential and limiting their self-belief. So that's not the business you're in. You're in the business education and inspiration, in my humble but highly accurate opinion. I'll get off my soapbox, rant over. Who's the next book for?
John Rennie.
John Rennie. JohnSRennie.com. Fellow author John Rennie. We'll just take this book right here. And I wrote the foreword to John's outstanding book called I Have the Watch, which has been on the Amazon bestseller list under leadership for better part of a year, which is unheard of by any standards. So book leadership, you go to ihavethewatch.com, get yourself a copy, tell them I sent you. And I hear the foreword's outstanding to the book. Well, because I wrote it. What's the next question?
What is your favorite hobby?
So my favorite hobby is, full disclosure, until about almost 2 years ago, I really never had any, quote, hobbies. Because I'm a recovering workaholic and I took up archery. So I have a compound bow. I'm not really a hunter. Maybe something I get into once I become a little more accurate and proficient. But I took up target archery and I absolutely love it. I didn't get it. It hooked me. I'll put it to you that way. And it's got a very meditative quality to it, which is why I love it, because if you're thinking about anything other than that tiny dot at the center of the target, you're not going to be successful. You have to be fully present, fully mindful. You can't be distracted or thinking about anything else. There are a lot of hobbies where you can think about other things and pull it off. This is not one of them. You've got to be really present, and it takes your mind off of work or whatever stresses you out. And I always leave the archery range in a great mood. I might show up in a bad mood. I always leave there in a great mood. And I normally don't do free shout outs, but I love this guy. And I actually write about my archery range in this book, Beyond Stadium Status, Lakeside Archery in North Yarmouth, Maine. Steve Dinsmore, amazing guy, amazing business owner. And you can check that out if you buy a copy at beyondstadiumstatus.com. Who am I signing this next copy to, Julia?
Tom Mills.
Tom Mills. Tom Mills is like, if I had a younger, smarter, better looking brother, that would be Tom Mills. Next question.
What is the most popular snack food in your house?
Most popular snack food in my house is actually something I think someone else in my house who's sitting behind the camera could probably answer better than me. What's the most popular snack food in our house, Julia? We get like those little mini bags of popcorn, not Smart Food, but the other brand. We get a lot of Cheez-Its, pretzels. What else?
Cereal?
Cereal, I could eat cereal breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's my go-to. So, like for me, I snack on cereal. For my kids, they snack on Cheez-Its almost religiously. And the person filming this right now, when she's done eating the box of Cheez-Its, will actually put the empty box back in the cupboard. I think it's just she just has fun messing with us as a practical joke. Because then whoever else goes to get some Cheez-Its will get a handful of air. So yeah, next book.
Johnchapin.
Johnchapin.
Oh.
Johnchapin. Awesome. Sales expert, Johnchapin. Fun fact. So let's do this. Okay. Johnchapin wrote a book, fellow author, authors supporting authors, which is always nice. Johnchapin wrote a book called The Sales Encyclopedia. And if you stacked all of these books up together, like this, that's about the size of the Sales Encyclopedia. I'm not even kidding. It is literally the largest, heaviest book on sales in the world. And I would encourage him to apply for Guinness Book of World Records for that book. I also encourage him to do an exercise video with the book where you're actually doing like deadlifts and arm curls, because it's like 17 and a quarter pounds or something ridiculous like that. Huge book, great resource, best resource on sales you'll ever find. So this is for Johnchapin. Shout out to Johnchapin. Next question.
You got one in the live stream.
What do you got?
What is the best cup of coffee you've ever had?
And who's it from? We got to give some shout outs here.
Maine Wine Tastings.
Maine Wine Tastings is asking about coffee. Okay. Best cup of coffee I ever had is from Bottom Gun Coffee. I have their breakfast blend, which is outstanding. And that they sponsor my podcast, the X Factor podcast. So shout out to Bottom Gun Coffee. If you want to purchase some coffee, go to bottomguncoffee.com. And their owner is a submariner, retired submariner, the U.S. Navy. It's just delicious coffee. It's that simple. There is no... What's the old saying with Porsche, the car? Porsche, there is no substitute. Bottom Gun Coffee, there is no substitute. Next book order.
Gabriel Klingman.
Gabriel Klingman. All right, here we go. And do we have another question either in the live chat or via email?
What is the best reason you love being a writer and speaker?
So, the best reason I love being a speaker is because I try and focus not on like a crowd of people, but I try and focus on, the one person that really needs to hear that message that day. Whether it's me speaking on one of my books, like Beyond Stadium Status, which is available at beyondstadiumstatus.com, or if I'm speaking on leadership, whatever I'm talking about, I try and find that one person that really wants to hear it, needs to hear it, and invariably, like that person will come up after I get off stage, or if it's at a conference, during the break at a conference, and they'll just come talk to me, about what I shared with them, and that's the most rewarding thing. It's not like crowds or applause or anything like that. There's an old saying, work for cause, not for applause, and I really believe that. So that's the speaking side. The best thing about being a writer is you have an opportunity. Every day is a blank page. You have an opportunity to write something new and let your mind out to play and be just kind of a social scientist in your own environment. Anyone that's ever read any of my stuff or has listened to my podcast or heard me speak or just knows me knows that I believe your best ideas will always come from outside your industry. And that's where I get a lot of my inspiration writing, is just seeing different things happen in different environments and applying it to another industry. Got another book order?
A.J. Rathbun.
AJ, fun fact, AJ was a college classmate of mine. So AJ played football and lacrosse at Fairleigh Dickinson University. Shout out to the FDU Devils. And we have another question.
Who is your biggest inspiration in your career and the most talented author?
You mean besides me?
Yes.
So, in all seriousness, like, this is a two-part question. What was the first part? Who's what?
Who is your biggest inspiration in your career?
And then, wasn't there another
And
part?
then who is your...
Inspiration.
And who is most talented author?
And most talented author. So we'll treat that separately. Biggest inspiration is, I don't know that I necessarily have another author that inspires me the most. Biggest inspiration in my career, I draw my inspiration from people in other industries. I look at writing as being a creative, being an artist. This is my canvas right here, and I love music, specifically country music, because I think it speaks to me. The lyrics tell a story. It's probably the only genre where the lyrics tell a really good story all the time. So my inspiration are a lot of like the Texas red dirt country musicians who are independent. They don't have a record label. They're, quote, self-published like me, and they don't get a ton of radio airplay. They have a very organic fan base, and they're self-made. That's my greatest inspiration. And the second part of the question was what author does what, inspires me the most, or what?
And the most talented author.
Most talented author? That's a tough question because there are a lot of, quote, successful authors who have ghostwriters. There are a lot of, quote, successful authors who have a team of writers. Like James Patterson has a team of co-authors. He slaps his name on anything, it's going to sell, but someone else did the lion's share of the writing. So it's tough. Like I don't like to compare myself to any other authors or say like someone's more talented than another. The people I respect and admire are probably people most people haven't heard of. There's some of my peers that belong to my membership community, our colleagues and friends. Johnchapin's one, John Rennie's another. Lots of folks like that. Again, going back to the theme of what I said earlier, common people doing uncommon things, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And, some of the most, quote, successful best-selling authors are marketers more than they are great writers, or they spent $200,000 to $250,000 to have a marketing firm buy up tons of copies of their books throughout the country at different retailers, just so it becomes a bestseller for 1 week on the New York Times bestseller list. And the New York Times bestseller list is not merit-based, so I try not to play that comparison game. I just try and support my peers who are doing good work, like a couple of the folks I mentioned earlier. Do we have more orders coming in?
Jason Leanna.
Awesome. All right, this is for Jason. Jason is, I know the name because Jason is one of the OGs, the originals. Jason had been, I believe he found me when I wrote a column a bunch of years ago for Entrepreneur Magazine. I wrote a weekly column for them. One of those articles, What Dating a Supermodel Taught Me About Chasing Opportunity, resonated with him. He reached out to me, started reading my books. So, Jason, I appreciate the support, and here we go. Is there another question, either live stream or email?
What is your most favorite moment in your career?
So, I had I've been very fortunate. I've had a bunch of wonderful moments in my career. Whether it was stadium status, hitting Amazon bestseller list, becoming a #1 international bestseller. That was a great moment. That wasn't the best moment of my career. Having the opportunity to go speak to the Pittsburgh Pirates coaching staff during spring training, and knowing that they used my book Seeds of Success as one of their annual book study books for the front office and staff was another wonderful moment. I would have to say the greatest moment of my career was when Seeds of Success won the Hollywood Book Festival Business Book of the Year award. It won the Hollywood Book Festival Award, Southern California Book Festival Award, and New England. And went to Hollywood to accept the award and give a speech. And that book was dedicated to my coaching mentor, Randy Mills. And when I received the award, I immediately gave it to his family, sent it to his family, because it's really not my award. It's something I wanted to share with them. And that book was just kind of a tribute to him. So above everything else, I'd have to say professionally that was tops for me. And it's going to be awfully hard. No matter what I do, it's going to be awfully hard to beat that. So next book to sign, and then fire another question at me.
Okay. You have a book for Joe DeAnge.
Joe DeAnge. Wonderful. And next question.
What would your advice be for dealing with in-laws?
What would my advice be for dealing with in-laws? Boy. I'm probably the worst person to get in-law advice from. Maybe smile and nod. Kill them with kindness. And just remember, like, your in-laws, no matter how much they drive you nuts, they produced your spouse. If it weren't for those in-laws who may drive you nuts, you wouldn't have the wonderful spouse you have. So, like, there's a blessing in every curse, something like that. And so smile and nod a lot, and just remember, guys, happy wife, happy life. You piss off your in-laws, you don't have happy wife, you don't have happy life. Next book?
Ralph Bolton.
Okay. Perfect. And then I think what we'll do is we're going to call timeout, and we're going to do the golden ticket, silver and bronze ticket drawings after we sign this one. So. We need like a drum roll sound effect for the prizes. There we go. On this card, I have, we'll start with the bronze ticket. And remember, we signed a book for Gabriel Klingman. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Klingman. Well, Gabriel also won the bronze ticket prize, which I am proud to present to him, a $50 gift card, which expired on February 28th, 2002, to Blockbuster Video. So congratulations, Gabe. I will send that out with your book order. Silver ticket. We get a drum roll. Silver ticket is this fabulous rotary telephone. Why? Because I'm old school. And while you may not plug a phone into your wall or be able to make calls on a rotary phone, one of the things you can do with this is you could use it as, like as a paperweight, make a fabulous doorstop, or just a conversation piece if you have it sitting completely unplugged on your coffee table in the middle of your living room, or like conference room table, and you could just like lay the receiver down and just say speakerphone, and just again, conversation piece. It's a little goofy, but yeah, it's functional. It's probably 5 pounds, which would make a nice doorstop or paperweight. And the winner of this silver ticket prize is Scott Sargent. So I'll send this out to Scott Sargent with his book he pre-ordered. And now I think we might have to go mobile here and move a little bit. I've got to get the golden ticket prize for our golden ticket recipient, which is a vintage autographed air guitar in a waterproof case. Now, this is an air guitar that's like a family heirloom, and the only reason I'm getting rid of it is my wife, first of all, is sick of me playing it at all hours in our house. Second of all, she's embarrassed when I take it with me when we go to concerts. She's mortified, and it's just taking up too much space. So I thought it'd be nice to give it a home to someone somewhere who could really appreciate it for what it is. It's a family heirloom. My dad got this air guitar. He actually went to a concert. I think it was Judas Priest, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's like a hairband air guitar. And he saw a guy playing it in the crowd, like right next to one of the big speakers. And he traded him a 6-pack of PBR pounders, Pabst Blue Ribbon pounders, for this air guitar. And trust me when I tell you, this air guitar is an absolute chick magnet, especially like rocker chicks with big hair, may or may not have some tattoos, nose rings, entirely too much makeup, and they tend to like Poison, Slayer, Judas Priest, Metallica, Dokken, Megadeth, bands like that. So just be careful with this thing. Know what you're getting into. And we're going to do kind of an unveiling of the winner right here. So follow me on this. So here's the waterproof case. And inside is the name of our winner. And that is Mr. Ron Weish. Congratulations, Ron. I hope you will take really good care of this air guitar. And in all seriousness, follow me over here. Stay, that's fine. We're going to fill it up with some goodies from my apparel brand, Chin Up, Chest Out. So we'll fit it up. I can't even speak. We'll fill it up with some swag from there. And you'll have a nice little surprise headed your way to your house. Ron, thank you for your support. I know you pre-ordered some books for your family and you ordered a copy for yourself. So much appreciated. Thank you. And those are our prizes. Why did I do these crazy prizes was another question that came in earlier, because they are a little crazy. Well, my whole belief with business is weird wins, because no one ever does anything unique to stand out. Everybody tends to just copy what everybody else is doing. When you do that, you're going to get the same results everybody else gets. So be weird. For stadium status, I gave away an all expenses paid, all-inclusive vacation for 2 at the Henderson Beach Resort in Destin, Florida. Well, how do you top that? They're actually now, this is how hard it is to successfully launch a book. Lots of people now are kind of copying what I did, giving away vacations. I saw one author last year gave away a Tesla. It's like, I'm not going to give away a Tesla. I want people buying the book for the book, not for the prize. So I sort of did the opposite of a prize. a $50 gift card to a video store that's no longer in existence, a rotary phone, and an air guitar. But the funny thing is, the fact that I had these crazy prizes got media attention, some radio and podcast interviews about just these wild prizes, which I didn't get that media. I didn't get to do those press hits for stadium status when I was giving away a vacation. So weird does win. It's really that simple. So hope that answers that person's question. How many questions do we have left?
5.
Okay, so we've been going for a while. I'll sign another book, take another question, and we're kind of winding down here. What's the next book?
Veronica Maurer.
Okay, Veronica. And next question?
Are there any topics or situations you won't write or speak about?
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Just kidding. I'll write about rock and roll. I don't think anybody wins when you're writing about sex, religion, or politics. If you think about, especially with politics today more than ever, you're going to alienate half your audience. The last 3 elections, the winner of the election, the presidential election, won 51% of the vote. So you're going to alienate either 51% of your audience talking about politics or the other 49. And I think nobody wins. It just gets ugly at that point. Next order?
There's another one for
Veronica?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll take another question.
Where was the first place you ever gave a speech?
First place I ever gave a speech. So in the early days, you went and spoke wherever you could, sold books in the back of the room, hoped people would listen, hoped people would show up, hoped people would buy a book. The first place I ever gave a speech was a motel conference room to 8 people. Person hired me to speak to her small business and get a little motivational talk at this motel conference room. The coffee was as cold as the ice water. It was not iced coffee. It was bad coffee, bad food, and a fairly disengaged audience. But, that's how you build a fan base. You engage them, whether it's 80 or 8,000 people, and you just try and grow it incrementally, and that's really what we've done. It's just try and grow the thing incrementally. But yeah, I'll never forget. It wasn't even a hotel or a convention center. It was just a motel where you walk out of your bedroom door and you're practically stepping into the parking lot kind of place. A motor lodge, if you will. Next book?
Anne Safranci?
Yeah, Anne Zaprasny. Perfect. Anne just wrote a book too. Anne wrote a journal for student athletes. GreatSportsMinds.com. I'm totally violating my no free shout-outs rule on this live signing, but technically they paid for a shout-out. And next question.
Why did you write a sequel to Stadium Status?
Why did I write a sequel to Stadium Status? Stadium Status, when I published it, had to be edited down. It is, what's the final page count on this thing? It is 144 pages. I had a lot of content that didn't quite make it in there, and I felt like I had to hold. I felt like a musician who had 25 cuts and had to get it down to 12 for their album, and I'd just been kind of polishing and editing the content that was supposed to go in Stadium Status, but didn't make it. Not because it wasn't good enough, because there just wasn't enough room. The publisher had a specific page count maximum that I couldn't exceed. And so I added to what didn't make it, and Beyond Stadium Status is actually a much bigger book. I wanted to make sure I jammed it full of content. It's 249 pages, 250 pages. I wrote a sequel, not just because I had, quote, extra content, but because whenever I spoke, almost immediately after releasing Stadium book, asked me for more like Stadium Status type content. So this is the book that my readers wanted me to write, is the short version to what was just a very entirely too long answer. And next book order?
Josh name.
Josh Nam. And if you haven't bought a copy of the book yet and you're watching this, what are you waiting for? It's only $20. BeyondStadiumStatus.com. Is my battery dying? Mm-hmm. What's the battery down to on the phone? 5%. Oh boy. All right, next book order.
Okay.
Oh, Kenj McBride?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad I read these in advance because we've got to make sure we pronounce their name right on camera. So. Here's what I'm going to do. You can read me the next question. I'm going to go get something to plug the phone in, plug the camera in. What's the next question?
Who is your editor and cover designer?
My editor and cover designer. While we're giving free shout outs, my editor was Mary Reynolds, and she's edited a bunch of my books. She's the best in the business. If you need a good editor and wordsmith, or you need a good proofreader, which I recommend even if you're not an author, but you just have a website. So I have the wrong power cord for my phone. Awesome. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. What are we down to now? Battery life. What's left? Book order.
You don't have any more book orders.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely have more book orders that I gave you. Because there's somebody named Phil. We haven't done his order yet. It's in there. Anyway, next question. Just give me the pile of papers. Next question.
Why is it called Stadium Status and Beyond Stadium Status?
Stadium status is a metaphor for filling up a stadium. You have an audience big enough that you can fill a stadium. That's, I think, what everybody wants, but not everybody has. So I found the missing order that we're looking for in this batch. We're all good. So that's why it's called stadium status. And then what do you do when you exceed stadium status? You go beyond stadium status. Next book order is for Phil Bolduc at Neocraft Signs. Phil, go beyond. Phil's already stadium status. He needs to go beyond stadium status. And Phil ordered 2 copies of this and a copy of stadium status. So what's the next question?
What's next for you?
What is next for me? That's the last question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what's next for me is, fun fact, I actually wrote 2 books in 2020 during the pandemic. The other one's called Move Forward. It's kind of like a daily reader, has a different mental health tip each day in it, and that's going to be released later this month. It is with my editor, Mary Schuler, and she is cleaning that up for me. Cover designer was the question I didn't answer. My cover designer is Dan Yeager at New Image Designs. If you need graphic design, he's your guy, whether it's logo, business cards, signs, or a book cover. And here's the crazy back to the book cover. which I thought was fun. And Dan has designed the cover to a lot of what you see back there. Secret Playbook, Coach Morgan Randall. Can you zoom in on that back there? He's designed the daily game plan, Seeds of Success cover, which I think is the best book cover I've ever seen, and some of those others up there. So, yeah, check him out. That's a wrap. And if you haven't got your copy of Beyond Stadium Status yet, what are you waiting for? It's a great book, and I can't wait to share it with you. We're going to do more of these. We got more orders that we weren't able to get to tonight. And thanks for sticking around in the live stream. We're going to put the recording up as well, and we appreciate you tuning in. And for everyone that bought a copy of this, we appreciate your support more than you know. And now I can afford to buy Julia dinner tonight. So thanks. Catch you on the next one. What are we down?